Hi, and welcome to The Flex with Aaliyah. Today, I'm talking about the OCR World Championships that are coming up. No, not the old school ones, which was OCRWC, which was a private world championship. This one is a new division that started a couple years ago, but really took off last year. So if you're interested in learning about a little bit more about obstacle course racing, which is what OCR stands for, and this championship, take a listen. It might expand your horizons, maybe get you to try something new. As always, I'm going to kick things off with a quote. First, they'll ask you why you're doing it. Later, they'll ask you how you did it. This quote is kind of fun, and I guess I can relate to it because a lot of people don't always understand what you do. That's with anybody, especially things that you like to do. Like, why do you train so much? You don't need to do that. Why don't you want to go out? Why are you racing in the rain and playing in the mud? Whatever it is. And then when they see your success, whether it's in a physical attribute, like how your body looks, or your successes, all your accolades, stuff like that, people will ask how you did it, because now you've gotten their attention, as opposed to just rip off the Band-Aid and start doing it themselves. They like to see someone else do it, so that way it's almost like visualizing that they now could do it or achieve it. And how does that relate to obstacle course racing? Well, obstacle course racing is one of those things that some individuals find odd because it's not a regular road race. There's barriers put before you that you have to overcome, whether it's a wall, a carry, something more technical with grip strength. And there's definitely a huge following for this sport. And obstacle racing is actually divided into many different divisions. There's Ninja Warrior, there's short distance like 100 meters, long distance, 15Ks, adventure racing. All these are actually categorized under obstacle course racing. And there's an organization called World Obstacle. The mission of World Obstacle is to promote obstacle sports, which are the ones that I have just listed: ninja, obstacle course racing, adventure racing, calisthenics, fitness racing. And they do this throughout the world. And there's certain standards that these sports need to meet based on requirements by the International Olympic Committee and the International Paralympic Committee. So World Obstacle promotes World Series, World Cups, World Championships in each sport for members of the federation and the athlete members of those federations. And what the heck does that mean? Well, in short, obstacle course racing is trying to get into the Olympics. And they actually have, which is super exciting and cool, not as its own sport, but part of another sport called the pentathlon, which I'll talk about in a moment. And that is why this organization is really important, because in order to compete in the Olympics, for a sport to be present at the Olympics, there has to be a national federation that follows certain guidelines. And there was some revamping of obstacle course racing, not locally, but from the organizations, federations, the powers that be, will say, that needed to fine-tune certain rules and requirements to make it a potential sport in the Olympics. And then you have to present it and such and such. They were able to do that successfully, so much so that now in 2028, obstacle racing is actually going to be debuted in the Olympics, not as a solo sport, but as part of the pentathlon. And the pentathlon is a 5-discipline event. I believe they removed the horse racing component of the pentathlon and replaced it with the obstacle course racing. And they're going to use, to my knowledge, the 100 meters that is going to be present at the World Championship. And that World Championship is being hosted in Costa Rica. It's next week. So it's the week of, and that championship is actually going to be hosted this week. The whole series of events starts August 21st. It's super exciting. You have to get invited to be on Team USA, and then they also have age groupers that can compete under Team USA. So this World Championship is going to run from August 22nd to August 25th. And it has a whole slew of events. Last year, 2023, this event was held in Belgium. And I had the privilege of going. It was an awesome experience. I got selected to be on the elite team for the 100 meters. And the 100 meters is a compilation of 10 to 15 obstacles put on a 100-meter course. So it is very fast. You need to be agile, quick, and extremely proficient in the actual obstacles present, which have simple obstacles. Nothing is too technical. There's a balance, there's 2 walls, a crawl, monkey bars, some rings, a wall, a couple other grip type obstacles. Nothing that's actually too intense. This course is really made for speed. And that's the 100 meters. So if you're participating in the 100 meters, they actually want you to get there a little early because you get to practice. The 100 meters is the only discipline that you actually get to practice on the course. There are 2 other distances, the 3K and the 15K. You are allowed to preview the course, meaning walk around, look at the obstacles, do not touch. You touch them, you're disqualified. That is a big difference between the 100 meters and the 3K and 15K. The 100 meters, you have usually 2 days to practice, and you're trying to get into a rhythm, a routine, get a feel of what the obstacles feel like. Most of us have done it before because these obstacles aren't as technical for us. So you're practicing jumping far out, jumping short distance, gauging where the steps are, really analyzing how you're going to execute it. And that, it sounds like an advantage. It's a little stressful because it's a cluster. It's definitely a cluster. You have all these athletes from all over the world coming to practice on the 100 meters, and you're crammed in there. Cool experience, and you also are seeing how other people do it, so then you try different techniques to see if it actually helps you. And I've gotten really acquainted with the 100 meters after competing in it last year for this specific championship in Belgium. But I've also competed in the 100-meter elite in a different Federation World Championship where I've placed 4th 3 years in a row. And those obstacles, they use different things compared to this particular event. They're making it standardized, so it's all the same every time you go. Is it really cool to see how fast people can go? Absolutely. Is it a little boring? Yes. I like some of the harder obstacles. And sure, do I like getting better at the same course? Absolutely. I want to be fast. But compared to some other events that I do, it's not as fun or as engaging because the challenge isn't there, which is a whole separate topic. And we're going to stay on topic. You bet. Ha! So that's pretty much the 100 meters in a nutshell. As the week progresses of the World Championship, athletes will arrive around Wednesday. They'll be able to pick up their packet, and the 100 meters, only people who are participating in the 100 meters will be able to practice. Athletes doing the 3K can now preview the course. And like I said before, that's only viewing it, no touching. Then come Thursday, anyone who came in late, there's still packet pickup. The opening ceremonies having been a part of it last year, they organize all the countries. It's literally just like the Olympics. And they walk you out in alphabetical order as a team. It's actually pretty cool. It makes you feel really special and important. It was an amazing opportunity last year that I got to participate in. And it just makes you feel like all the work that you did paid off to be at this event, this championship, this level. That's just from my perspective. I can't speak for the other athletes. And then on this particular day, for this year, because the schedule obviously always changes, they're starting the 100-meter qualifying events on Thursday, which is different than previous years. The previous year, they actually started it on Friday. This year, they're starting it a day early because they ran into issues last year where it got so backed up. So I think it's actually a really smart change for them. And what the qualifier is that you get 2 time trials. So I'm going to sign up for my time slot. That typically means I have to tell my coach, and each country's designated a coach. So I'm going to tell my coach when I want to go, and he's going to enter it and put it in. And then I get in line. I go do my run, and I get a time for that because there's a buzzer. If you ever see American Ninja Warrior, it's just like that. You run up the warp wall, you have to hit the buzzer, which stops your time. And then I can rest pretty much as long as I want, and then I get to do a second time trial. They take my fastest time trial between the two, and the goal is to be top 16. You want to be top 16 because then they do a bracket style, which comes later. So we're going to take a little pause there. That's the 100-meter qualifier. Then, that same day on Thursday, they have a technical briefing. Only the coach goes to that and then reports back to all the athletes about this briefing, certain rules for the race course. However, it's also our responsibility as the athletes to know the handbook, which they have sent out that covers the obstacles. What ones are mandatory? Pretty much they're all mandatory. But some are penalized, and the penalty is you lose a lifeline, you lose a band. And that is specific to the 3K and 15K. So they go over all the rules for the technical briefing. I'll go into a little more detail in a moment. I don't want to confuse you because there's a lot of moving parts here. This is just the schedule. And there's plenty of athletes who are going, who you might not even know are going. Come Friday, it's the 3K event. In the evening, they do the award ceremony after the 3K. There's more 100-meter qualifiers. And in addition, late at night, there's a technical briefing for the coaches for the 15K, which is the following day. They always do a technical briefing the day before. So if there's any issues, questions that come up, they can be handled and answered in enough time, which rolls into Saturday. Saturday, we do the standard course, which is the 15K. They do the award ceremony later that day for the 15K. And another technical briefing. That technical briefing is for Sunday's team event, which implies that on Sunday there will be the elite team event with finals and semifinals for the 100 meters. Okay, now that's a whole bunch of information. That's what we're all going to be dealing with for the athletes and coaches who are going over there for this event. As a 100-meter athlete, I'd want to go early so that way I have the opportunity to practice on Wednesday and Thursday. Then you got to decide when your time trials are. They take the fastest one. Come Saturday, since everyone now has completed the 100-meter course, you will see if you end up in the top 16. Top 16 elite males and top 16 elite females. They do have a couple other categories based on youth, teenager, and masters that will also get to compete. Same thing. They will take the top portion of them. I'm unsure if it's top 16 of those ones, but I know for the elite, it's top 16. And then on Sunday, the 100-meter athletes in the top 16 compete again. And holy hell, it is so exciting to watch. It is a short course that you can see from the sidelines, pretty much everything. And they fly, these top athletes. They will take the number 1 seed and the 16th seed and have them go head to head. Whoever hits the buzzer first moves on. Whoever does not is automatically eliminated. And they do this until they have the top 8 athletes. And then the same thing happens with the top 8 athletes. They pair them up, go head to head to end up with the top 4. And they do this to get who has the first, second, and decides third or fourth place. So you're doing the 100-meter course quite a lot and very intensely that day. That concludes the 100 meters and how it works. Then you have the 3K, which is the short course on Friday. The short course is typically a 3K, which is 1.8 miles. The 15K is on Saturday, which is 9.3 miles, give or take. The rules for the short course and the standard course are the same. You can preview the course the day before. You are not allowed to touch or attempt any of the obstacles. You're given 3 wristbands on your arm that you have to start with. The wristbands really only apply to grip obstacles because if it's a wall, you have to stay there until you can get over the wall. The grip obstacle, if you miss, touch something that you're not supposed to touch, don't follow a rule or a guideline that was specified in the handbook, you lose a band. You lose a lifeline. Pretty much that's what it is. You lose a life, just like in a video game. You get 3 lives, you lose 1. Maybe you're going and you touch the carabiner at the top, eliminated. You accidentally kick another athlete or touch the ground, eliminated, and you lose a second lifeline. If you lose all 3 of your wristbands, you're DQ'd. You need to get to the finish line with at least 1 band. That is the same for the 3K and the 15K. When you get to the end of the race, not the finish line, but the end of the race, they will see if you have 1 band, 2 bands, or 3 bands. If you have 3 bands, they usually send you in one direction, and you finish the last 1 or 2 obstacles and cross the finish line. If you are missing a band or 2, you go a different route. And you now complete a penalty. Last year, it was a keg carry, or keg roll. You had to move a keg around this little loop. I, in the one event, lost 1 band, so I only had to do 1 loop with the keg. I wasn't going to roll. I was like, screw that. I'm going to pick it up. Apparently, I was the only one to pick it up, but I wasn't going to roll it through the mud. It looked like it took too long, and it's misshaped. I just picked it up, walked around. It was a lot faster. If you lost 2 bands, you had to do 2 loops. If you lost all 3, you didn't get the opportunity for a penalty anyway. You were automatically DQ'd. You could finish the race, but you don't get a standing. You get DQ'd. Those rules are the same for the 3K and the 15K. And that's what this World Championship is. It is finding the best of the best in the world of obstacle course racing. At the 100 meters, the 3K, and the 15K. I did hear that they will be live streaming it, so you should absolutely check it out. It's going to be an extremely fun event to see, especially the 100 meters. The 3K and the 15K are pretty long, and you're only going to see probably the top athletes in certain spots on the course, just by where they can get the cameras, how good their connection is, stuff like that. And that goes back to the quote. First, they'll ask you why you're doing it. Why are you competing in this race? How did you get selected? What makes you so special? Is that hard? Is that silly? Why are you wasting your time? Things like that. And then once people see your success, they'll ask you how you did it. How much do you train? What does your training look like? Do you have a coach? Is it hard? So all those questions. So you might be judged a little bit at first because it's something that people aren't used to. And then when they see that it's possible, they'll ask you how you did it because now they want to do it. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Flex with Leah. I enjoyed talking with you today. Remember to like, share, follow, and I will catch you next time. Have a wonderful day, guys.